my necklaces, arm sack that I normally wear. I added a little pearl bracelet today. I don't normally wear that, but this is what I normally wear. I have this cute little dress from Shein, very easy to wear, very flowy, very easy to wear. And then my Gucci padlock bag, and this is in a medium, so medium shoulder bag. I've had this for a few years. I love it. And then I am wearing some Chanel inspired dupes from Shein. So if you're interested in any of these things, I'll have it linked in my LTK, and I will also link it below in the description box. Now it's time to go. Let's head out. Hey y'all, so it's much later on in the day. So we went to worship. We also ate with some friends. So that was really nice. But it's now 3:46 and it is time for me to get to work. I really don't feel like it. I'm in my PJs. I'm so comfortable. But I am going to keep the commitments that I made to myself, and that's the secret. Just keeping the commitments that you make, sometimes pushing through it. I used to work on Sundays all the time, but I stopped working on Sundays just because I wanted to have more relaxation and not always work, just so I could just kind of relax sometimes. And that's been really nice. But this Sunday I am working because there is a bid that I want to submit for, and it's actually due tomorrow. Tomorrow is our team meeting, and I may not have time to prepare and submit for that bid. The way I stay on top of my bids is my opportunity tracker, y'all. It's going to be linked in my description box in case you want to grab it, so I can see at a glance what I have going on, what opportunities I want to go after, where I'm at in the process, what I want to do with it, when's the due date, what I've done toward that opportunity. I keep track of all of that on this spreadsheet. It's something that I have done from the very beginning of my business, and something that I continue to do, and now my team does it as well. So that's the first thing I have to do. The next thing I need to do is I need to make a deposit in my operations account and in my general fund account. So I need to write out 2 checks. I'm thinking that I need to write maybe one for 1,000, maybe the other for 5,000. I'm not really sure yet. So the third thing that I need to do is go over my business budget for the month of August. Today is August the 10th, and I am super late doing this. Normally I do this I want to say probably the last few days in the month previous, at least, so that I could kind of map out exactly what it is that we're doing. But believe it or not, I've been mapping out the finances in my head since probably mid-July, because I always like to keep a pulse on the business. So I talked to you guys about remaining organized. I try to have everything organized. All the files related to my business, I keep it organized. I also have a spreadsheet that I list out all my recurring expenses month after month, so that I know what's due, when it's due, how much I need to pay. So I keep track of those accounts payable. And then we also keep track of accounts receivables too. But yes, the next thing I have to do is order some supplies. And I'm looking down at my list that I created right here. I have to order some supplies. So typically I order supplies once a month, and last month I actually trained my manager on how to get these supplies ordered. But 2 weeks in, so much of our supplies were gone, and I was like, whoa, stop it now, wait a minute, because we ordered more than we actually ever order, and 2 weeks in and nothing is there. And y'all, I'm not talking about just a couple of supplies, I'm talking about hundreds of dollars of supplies. So that really kind of threw me. And I couldn't help but wonder, was it the new hire that we hired? So we had hired someone 2 months prior, and since then my operations manager let him go, which was a very good decision. It was something that was very necessary to do, just because it was necessary to do. I'll leave it at that. But it wasn't for the theft, but that's exactly what I think was going on. And my manager, she gave me some insight on some things that she observed, some things that she saw. So I strongly feel like our supplies will level back out again, especially since I have three people who have been with me pretty much from the beginning. And then I have another person who has been with me since January, and I've been knowing her for forever. I trust her very, very much. So I am 100% certain that it's not her that's eating up all of these supplies and consumables. And then my manager, she's really good too. So again, I've known her for a very long time too. So I am certain that it's not her. It wasn't until this new person came to the team, and that's when we started noticing like the supplies were leaving very, very rapidly. So anyhow, I need to order some supplies. I'm going to go ahead and re-up because really I wanted to go to Sam's today, but I don't want to go to Sam's today. So I'm going to see if I could get things shipped, and hopefully they'll be here within a few days. That's what I typically do, but I normally don't do it when we're so low. But I think we will be okay because my husband did buy a few of the things that we were out of. I'm going to place that order in just a few minutes. And then I am going to plan for the week. So I love to plan my weeks, and I'll show you guys my process of planning. It's not anything complicated. It's very much just like understanding what my overall goal is and creating goals that supports my overall goals. But I'll show you guys that process. And the last thing is to, well, plan August budget, which I've already said. So that's it. So hopefully we will have all of this stuff done in just a little bit. And I hope that you guys enjoy the behind the scenes of everything that I do running this high six-figure business. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and write out these checks first. I'm going to endorse the back of these checks. Okay, so those checks are deposited, and so the next thing is to order supplies for the business. So I created these sheets, and my crew, these are the used ones. So it itemizes like all the supplies that we use, and each night they are to quantify how much is in their janitor's closet. That way we could keep up with the usage of supplies. So if we see a trend, then, you know, like if we're using less or if we're using a lot more, then we will be able to like keep up with those trends and order accordingly, instead of me just thinking, oh, we need 5 boxes of trash cans, when truly we may need 10 boxes of trash cans. You know what I'm saying? So I try to find different ways to stay organized in the business. I am still, you know, experimenting with a few things, and, you know, that's just part of it. But let's just go ahead and place our order. The next thing that we're going to do is our top 3. So in my calendar, they have the top list for the day, and I like to just itemize the top 3 things for the week. Just 3 things, because I don't like to overwhelm myself with so much, because we want to make sure that we're staying flexible for other things that are going to take place. One of those things is always something tied to revenue. I am the sales machine of my business, and so therefore I have to always keep my mind on activities that make money making activities. So with that being said, I figure I should be doing $750,000 each week of bid submissions. Sometimes I do more than this, sometimes I do less of this, but the more you throw your hat in the ring, the more chances you have to actually win something, the more opportunities that you've just created for you to learn from the bids that you submitted. You could learn whether you had a great proposal. You could learn whether your bid was acceptable for whatever reason. You could learn so many different things. And y'all, I have won bids that I could not believe that I won, you know? So you just never know. So you have to throw your hat in the ring. So I know that more than likely I'm not going to win every single bid that I submit for the week. I always have a goal of submitting a high dollar amount of bids so that I can give myself an opportunity to get that stuff done. So goal number one is the revenue goal. And I am going to, my goal, I'm going to write down that I want to submit 750,000 in bids this week. Typically what I do is go look at the meeting from the week prior, and I take a look at the commitments that I made in front of the team of things that I was going to do to see how I'm measuring up. So I'm going to take a moment to do that with you guys right now. And I have these Google Docs. I love Google products, and I use Google Docs a lot in my business. I use Google Sheets a lot in my business. So I'm going to pull up our commitment sheet, and I'm going to look at the commitments that I said. Okay, so yes. Okay, so I'm on task. I've done everything that I committed to do last week, so I can move on with new goals. So if I didn't do any of those, if I didn't get all those things done, what I do is carry those on to the next week. I don't beat myself up about it, because internally you will feel bad, and sometimes it's really demotivating. So I try to do everything that I can to keep myself in motion. So submit $750,000 in bids this week via government contracting. I also have a class to take because my company is looking to embark on a new endeavor, which I'm really, really excited about. And I am taking a class just so that I can learn more about it before we fully commit to doing this. So I'm going to say complete the class. We're actually looking at embarking on a couple of different new endeavors. And I have a class on the 13th, which is, I think, on Wednesday. And then I also have a class next Sunday. Two completely different business ideas, two completely different things. But we are keeping ourselves open for all that is to come to us. So I have that class on the 13th. So I'm going to complete that. And then my last commitment is going to be to get some paperwork that my accountant needs. So I'm going to say submit I'm going to submit all the paperwork that my accountant needs so that he could do his thing. So I'm not holding him up with his job. So those are my top 3 commitments. Those are going to be the things that I bring toward the team. So I want to just explain a little bit more about this top 3. So just because you have 3 things that you're committing to, it does not mean that you're only going to accomplish 3 things this week. So for instance, the class that I'm taking, I am going to take the class, and if there's something more for me to do, or if there's more research I need to do, I'm also going to do that research because that is directly tied with that goal. Same as the bid submission. So $750,000 is what I want to submit this week in bids. And I may do that with 1 bid. I may do that with 10 bids. 10 bids may equal $750,000. It just depends on what we have going on again. So just because you have 3 goals, you don't just have 3 activities. So it could be 10 activities for one of those goals, so that this goal carries you all throughout the week. And if you think about it, if you keep the same sort of framework for your business, and let's say there's 52 weeks in a year and there's 3 things that you're committed to each week, you would have moved the needle on 156 different items in a year's time. So sometimes people comment on my videos or email me and tell me, oh, I'm so motivating. They just, are so happy that they've come to find my channel. They tell me different things like that, and I appreciate that. But I'm showing you these videos to show you guys my thought process and to show you that it's nothing spectacular. It's all about action. So speaking of action, I'm going to pull up this bid sheet, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone. If you purchase this opportunity tracker, you'll be able to actually download the Google Sheets app and have that on your phone and have it on your desktop which is very convenient. It's kind of far out, but this is pretty much what it looks like. This is a blank one. This is what you could pull up on a daily basis so you can see exactly where you are, exactly what you need to do, which is how I know that I need to submit that bid that I talked to you guys about earlier. So essentially, that's all that I do to identify what my focus is going to be for the week. And now that I've identified my focus, I could further plan my week out if I so desired. So let's see. I've been trying to be good with like keeping up with things and writing things down as they come. So I pretty much have my plan solidified already. So there's nothing much for me to do in that regard. So now the last thing that we have to do, well, we have two more things. I have to plan my finances, which is kind of a private thing. I'll just do that on my own. But then I also have to submit for this bid, y'all. So let's go ahead and get this bid submitted, okay? There's a spreadsheet that my Apple is not compatible with. It's not pulling up properly. So I'm going to have to get my HP and fill everything out from my HP. And I'm going to get that bid submitted. So it won't take long. I'll let you guys know what the final amount is that I submitted for. It's not a really big one, but it is local. So I am interested in getting that bid because, you know, it is local. I do see that there is a company who has won a similar bid to that when we went up against them before, and they really lowballed it. So I'm kind of hesitant with even submitting the bid, but I'm going to go ahead and submit it anyway, just because you just don't know. You just never know if you'll actually get it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and submit it. It doesn't mean that just because the company saw the document, it doesn't mean that they're going to submit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that submitted, and I'll put up on the screen how much I submitted the bid for. And I think I'm gonna end this vlog here, you guys, because it's now 4:32 and I have something to do at 5 o'clock, and I am ready to take this puff out of my hair because it is a little bit tighter than I want it to be. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed these behind the scenes, and if there's something else that you want to see, just let me know. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.